and she was a doctor in the military, but you know, they still have to know how to shoot. They threw up these clay pigeons, and apparently she shot every single one of them. The guys were like, oh crap. Hey y'all, it's Errin with 2R's, and we are watching The Courtship. Really excited. Oh, she was watching. By we, I mean me, because my co-host is, yeah, she's done. Oh well. It's fine. I'll keep you involved in the show. She's gonna take a break. Anyway, today's episode is called Battle of the Brits. So last week we got a new suitor. He was half French, half British, and then we found out that he knew Mr. Mumbre. And I remember we had the whole exchange with the homemade lemon loaf versus Mr. Nazaire's like over-the-top two-tier cake and gifts for the family and blah blah blah. And so this one is called Battle of the Brits. So we obviously know that there's going to be some drama because duh, would we watch these shows if there were no drama? And yeah, I'm pretty much invested. I don't think I'm going to be able to stop watching. I just don't want this to drag on. Like I was looking for like 10 weeks, wham bam, and it looks like it's going to be more like 12. I don't know. So here we go. Battle of the Brits.
So our first event is a family dinner with all of the suitors and the whole family, well, Miss Remy's court, and Mr. Cones gets it in his head that it is traditional to propose a toast and decides that he would do that. Well, he interrupts Nicole Remy's dad as he is welcoming everybody to the feast, and he was going to ask Mr. Nazaire to propose a toast. Well, Mr. Cones gives his toast, and he is not prepared, and it was a disaster. Mr. Nazaire gives his toast entirely in French. Ugh, that guy. And what gets me is Mr. Remy doesn't actually speak French fluently anymore. The last time he had to speak it was 6 years ago, according to him, so he was so impressed by the French that the suitor spoke. But I was like, but what's the point if you can't communicate with him?
Okay, so basically the first half of this is this big dinner and the family is back and they have all of these delights of things that people would have eaten at the time, and I'm just like, they weren't seasoning their food at that time, right? Like they just didn't, under the guise of like, I want to taste the natural flavors of the food. Cabbage doesn't taste like anything strong. It just tastes like it's light, I'm just like, and then they were like, oh, cow tongue. And I'm just like, you know what? We have cow tongue tacos, right? And it's seasoned. Like you can't just put cow tongue out there and just be like, here you go, have it. And I know they were just trying to like, I don't know, shock the suitors and see what they were going to do. And Miss Remy looks like, I am not eating that. But there's actual turkey, like there's food on the table and things like that. Also, like the way they're eating at the table, like they're like, oh, etiquette, and like they're not really worried about etiquette in this show. And I have to remind myself that they don't give a damn about etiquette exactly, just like approximate etiquette, because they would not have been talking across the table, and Nicole's mother would have been in charge of leading the conversation. Like it would not have been appropriate to talk to anyone besides the person on your left and your right until the hostess started speaking across the table. And then it's one at a time. It ain't like side conversations. It becomes a whole conversation. I know this because of Downton Abbey. And maybe it was different then, but no, it wasn't. Anyway, I'm just going to let them do the stuff. And I'm just going to have to hold my peace because this episode is not sitting well with my spirits. Okay, so she has to invite 4 people to go with her and Tessa into the parlor for a night of fun and games. Let's talk about who got left out. So Mr. Cones, Mr. Holland, and who else? Judge, Mr. Judge, and I can't remember the other person. So the person that that's a problem. When I can't remember the other person, that means she can't remember it either. So she's invited Mr. Chapman, of course, Mr. Nazaire, Mr. Mumbre, and Mr. Bokikio into the parlor for fun and games with her and her bestie. And I just, yeah, it's really hard to be a group of 8 men, and they're like, "Oh, you can only half of you can come in." Who am I forgetting? Why am I forgetting the last guy? Judge. Oh, Mr. Hunter. Yeah, it's been a while since she's said anything to Mr. Hunter, and now the guys who are left behind, like Mr. Cones. Christian Cones seems like the type of person that's very easy to get along with, fun to be around, and it seems like the guys generally like him. And but yeah, like it's like he has good ideas. It's just it didn't go that well. It didn't go well for him at all. So I'm gonna try to shut up until something else happens that's really big. It won't work. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm already back. Like, it's literally since the moment I said I'll be back, and now it's been 10 seconds, and I'm literally like, what the actual hell are these people doing? Mr. Nazaire is on all fours meowing, and it's supposed to be some game that they're supposed to be playing. And honestly, rich people, well, not current rich people, I hope y'all don't do this, because this is lame. I need y'all to have better games. But rich people back in the day, if y'all really played this, I don't even know what game this is. Like, play charades or something. Okay, they should go back to the Meowing Game. They're gonna be like, never have I ever. And I'm just like, wow. So they said that never have I ever feared commitment. And so, you know, Lincoln takes a drink, like, yeah, perhaps. So I'm thinking, like, yeah, in the past, of course, I would have feared commitment. And so, you know, you take your sip, you're like, all right, yeah. It'd be like that sometimes. But they were like, oh my God, Mr. Lincoln and I have been intimate, and now he's saying he fears commitment. Did he say that? Or did he say sometime, at one point? Doesn't mean like right now he is fearing commitment. And she's like, oh, why are you here? Nicole, like literally, you're here. You better come at. That's why I'd have just been like, I ain't telling y'all shit. So they're going shooting. The 4 suitors that didn't go to the party last night are going shooting with Mrs. Remy. And apparently Mrs. Remy is like ex-military, and she was a doctor in the military, but you know, they still have to know how to shoot. They threw up these clay pigeons, and apparently she shot every single one of them. The guys are like, oh, crap. And Mr. Coles is like, this is the kind of family I'm trying to marry into, with the sniper mom. That's why I was like, Mr. Coles is so charming, and I don't understand why she's not, like, gravitating toward him. Like, so I'm listening to things that, like, Nicole says to the suitors, and I mean, you definitely have to be an extrovert to be on one of these shows. And I was just like, could I be on one of these shows? And the answer is no, because I'd just be like, wow, I think you're full of shit. Also, I'm choosing you for our date tonight. Like, they would be so confused. They would not know where they stand with me. And at least with Nicole Remy, she's being very open and honest about where they stand. That's one thing I kind of respect about her. I don't think she's being fake. I think she's being herself. It's just, I don't know if this is, it seems like fun and games, and I just don't know if this is a way that you can actually find somebody, because you're not even wearing the clothes that you normally wear. You're not in a setting that you would normally be in. You know, can something like this work afterward? Like, she's not going to be wearing that. Like, well, this one was a very emotional farewell dance. So the guys on the card were Mr. Chapman, Mr. Hunter, Mr. Holland, and Mr. Mumbre. And it's just, you know, we're down to, it was 8 suitors. So 2 of them went home. She sent home Mr. Mumbre and Mr. Holland, and she cried on both. And everybody was like, oh, whatever. But no, like, these are genuinely, like, great guys. She's narrowed it down to, like, 8 actual, genuine, nice guys. So anyway, next episode, it looks like, I don't know, it looks like somebody wants to leave. seen that happen, so whatever. And then they had like a scene of Mr. Chapman walking down the steps, and it doesn't even mean that it's them. You know, like they like to make you feel like, oh no, is it him? But anyway, but I really am like, oh no, is it him? Anyway, if you enjoy watching this with me, definitely subscribe and click the notification bell so you can be told when I post. And then also like this video and leave me a comment. Like, what do you think about all of this? And yeah, I mean, what do you... I don't know, I don't even have any words, really. Well, not any more words. Okay, until next time, bye!